Hey yo, Hexico! Welcome to a very special episode of Shut the Fud Up. We got some fudsters that I've got to take care of here today. There's been a little bit of back and forth on Twitter going on. Hey, RH Max, how you doing? I see you right there in the chat. Thank you for getting back to me on X today. So, yeah, I got something to say about today that actually involves Max. First off, Monday. I think it's the 14th, July 14th, right? The PulseX conference. Yep, Monday, July 14th. I will be there. I am going to be giving a little bit of a presentation on my own about why the bull market really hasn't started yet and why investment literacy is what you need to feel bullish about right now. Because if you're feeling bearish, the issue is that you're just not investment literate. I hate to sound like an elitist, and I hate to keep repeating myself, but it seems that like nobody is learning what I'm trying to get across to all of you. I see why Richard doesn't stream no more because it appears none of you listened. None of you listened to anything that he said. You guys are making the stupid mistakes of things that he warned you against, and you guys are always you've forgotten what crypto was all about. You're making it all about, oh, this guy needs to stream for our bags to pump because there's just so many billionaires out there with lots of money on the sidelines. They're sitting there thinking, oh, you know what? I would really like to invest in a crypto coin. Man, that Hex thing looks really good. I would love to invest in it, but man, Richard Hart just hasn't streamed yet, so I don't think I'm going to do it. That's what a dumbass like Brandon BB me thinks. Oh, yeah, I'm going to start naming names here as far as the Floodsters out there. I tried being nice and everything, but apparently y'all just want to keep talking so much trash. And apparently you guys really want people to lose money. And that really infuriates me. Because I'll tell you what here, I made a stupid investment once. I made a very stupid investment once. I invested in the Spell token because I listened to a very stupid man promote it. And I lost money. Sold out of Spell token at a loss. Do you see me running around trash talking Spell token? Do you see me rooting for the people that are still in it to lose money? No. You're never going to see me do anything like that. I do not root for or cheer for people to lose money, even when I really don't like people and I really don't like their project. I still do not root for that because there's always going to be innocent bystanders that are going to get hurt. And it really sucks to have people lose money. I don't want that to happen. In fact, here's the deal. I am not even a Hex Maxi. I am not even a Pulse Chain Maxi or even a Richard Hart Maxi. The deal is I'm rooting for all of crypto. I'm rooting for all of it because I think that any coin pumps, it helps everybody. When the whole ecosystem pumps, it helps out everybody. I'm not rooting for just the coins I'm invested in to do well. I want everybody to do well. It's not me trying to stand on the sidelines and take a cop-out position here where I'm cheering for everything and not placing any bold bets or taking any sides or putting my name on the line for a specific asset, because I do put my name on the line for a specific asset. Every single one of my videos has been pretty centric on the Richard Hart coins because those are the ones that are worth talking about the most here, I think. They're not even my largest bag, but they're the ones that I talk about the most. So I take sides. That doesn't mean that I want us to succeed and then I want everybody else in crypto to fail. I do not root for people to lose money like some of these douchebag bears that are constantly trash talking the Richard Hart ecosystem. All right? And you guys know I am not a simp or apologist for Richard Hart. I have criticized him multiple times before. I continue to criticize him. So shut up with that crap here as well. But anyways, what I want to get into today is talking about some bears that I ran into on X today. And we got one bear that apparently might actually put his might actually nut up here and come face to face with me. I hope so. Remember last stream? The guy that I took on and destroyed and humiliated in the last stream? A little guy that goes by Execute on Twitter? Yeah. He apparently does want to get on a live stream with me, and he wants to assert that I'm wrong about three things. Or I'm going to challenge him on three things that he said. First thing, he wants to say that this cycle is over. Second thing he wants to say that I'm going to challenge him on is that the four Richard Hart coins, or five, are fundamentally doomed, never coming back. And they're in worse shape than anything else in crypto. And then the third thing, oh man, I can't wait. I can't wait to get into this one on that live stream with him. He wants to legitimately assert and allege that the Dixie, the dollar index, has nothing at all to do with crypto. And he wants to assert that the 10-year treasury has nothing to do with crypto. Now, he hasn't actually said that about the 10-year treasury. He did say that about the Dixie. He ain't said that about the 10-year treasury. I'm going to push him on that. Be like, hey, what do you know about the 10-year treasury? Matter of fact, Execute, if you're watching, I'm going to help you out here tonight. I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm going to hit you with when we do have our debate one-on-one on RH Max's channel. So let's take a look here at, first off, what am I talking about? What was the exchange? I also had an exchange with another fella that we've had a problem with here before. Can't wait to show you that one. I'm going to save that one for the end. But let's look here at what went on between Miss and I on Twitter here today. So I hope y'all see this here. It says it's sharing. I don't know, because YouTube has just been an absolute jerk. Been an absolute jerk here for streamers lately. But here's what he says. He goes, at Richard Hartwin, the only thing pitiful is you and your price chart. So apparently he was like talking about how he was responding to, I guess, Richard Hart's tweet about, hey, this is pitiful. I tell you guys, I ask you guys for this, and y'all do that. So I was being a little sarcastic snark here, and I said, yeah, because speculative assets should like totally pump when the DXY is at 97 and the 10-year treasury is over 4%. Your illiteracy is humiliating, bro. Yes, I stand by that. If you think the crypto should be pumping right now, and it's not pumping right now, you guys look at me, wait, it's pumping right now? No. It's not pumping right now like it's capable of. If you think crypto, though, should be pumping right now, then you're illiterate. I'm sorry. If you don't understand how the DXY and how the 10-year treasury affects crypto, I can't help you. I'm going to try to help you here on this stream. And when I come face to face with Execute, I'm going to try to help him understand why those things matter. He's going to allege that they don't, and I'm going to destroy that claim. We'll come back to jail rat crypto here in a little bit here, but let's come all the way down to when I challenged jail rat crypto. Actually, I was challenging him to a live stream, and Execute said, well, he's down. So I got to applaud you, Execute. Thank you for having the balls to actually want to come on a stream here with me and face me and defend the foolishness that you've been spreading here on Twitter. Thank you for having the bravery to do that. I will applaud you for that. And at the debate, when RH Max hosts this, I will be respectful to you because I'm going to go on mute while you're speaking. I hope that you will do the same for me, because I don't like these debates where it's just people yelling over each other, interrupting each other. That stuff, like this thing that Jubilee does, I hate that thing. I hate that gimmick. Those videos are stupid. Nobody learns anything. Nobody changes their mind. So what I want to have here is you make your best argument. I'll be silent when you do. And then when you're done making your best argument, I'm going to come make my argument. You be silent when I do. And we go back and forth just like that. Maybe we even have a timer like they do in the Senate when they debate in the Senate. We have a nice, fair debate where the audience can actually learn something. So Said to RH Max, let's make it happen. Jail Rat, my challenge to you is still open. And then Execute went on here to say, oh, one more thing. Are you going to price everything in Pulse or Hex or all 4 coins? And this is what I say. My case is not just for all 4 coins, but all for crypto, really. It's like I said earlier. I'm rooting for the whole thing, the whole market to go up. I'm not rooting for just a few coins. I'm rooting for everybody to succeed this cycle. Back to my tweet here. It said, you said on Spaces, I'm talking about Execute, he said on a Twitter Spaces, I think it was Internet Money hosting it, that he thinks the whole cycle is over. So I'm going to challenge him on that point as well. I'm not making a price prediction, but here are the challenges I'm making. Execute, you made a claim that the cycle is over. I'm going to challenge you on that. 2, you claim that the RH coins are fundamentally doomed. I'm going to challenge you on that. They're no worse off than every other coin out there. And 3, your claim that the DXY and the 10-year treasury do not matter. You better study up on that, son. And here's what he said. Oh, already done. I posted these charts. These charts prove my point. This chart shows the relationship between Bitcoin and the DXY. As you can see here, it's a perfect inverse relationship. And then this chart here shows what was the Dixie at when Bitcoin was at a top and when it was at a bottom at the different cycle highs and cycle lows. Look at this. This looks like a perfect inverse correlation. I'm shouting my head off on Twitter every time this is happening. Oh, hello, Tam Tam. How you doing? Every time that this has been happening, I've been shouting my head off on Twitter when Treasury, the 10-year Treasury yield goes up and crypto comes down, and the inverse. Also, when the Dixie goes up or goes down and crypto does the inverse, I keep shouting it because I want you people to get it. That's how important this is. This is how Richard was able to make those predictions about the Bitcoin top. I was able to call the top on the day. He was watching the 10-year Treasury. He was watching the Dixie. That's how it was. You want to argue with me on that? Come on. Come on the stream with me. We can argue about it. Huh? So, hopefully, Execute is going to be a man of his word. And hopefully, he will show up to the stream with RH Max when we do that debate. And hopefully, he actually gives me something good. Hopefully, that's the case here. He's not going to be like he was on that Twitter Spaces where he just goes, the cycle is over. You guys are dead. And oh my God, X is just so centralized because it has centralized ownership. I remember a zillion times here, Richard, even on his own streams, was not even saying it was decentralized because of ownership. He was actually defending centralized ownership and how that is particularly good for the price. I remember those streams where he did that. Do you not remember them? They were not listening? That's why he doesn't stream, I guess, because y'all don't listen. So, wanted to cover that. We'll talk about the other guy I had a little exchange with today a little bit later here. But something very important going on that wasn't. I haven't heard this talked about by anyone with regards to crypto. I did hear George Gammon talk about this, and he's not a crypto guy; he's a real estate guy. But something very important happened today, and I'm not talking about the big beautiful bill. No, I'm not talking about that. What I am talking about is something else here. The jobs report that came out earlier this morning. Don't know if y'all saw this, but the economy apparently is in great shape according to the jobs reports. They're saying, oh, yes, we added many more jobs than expected. What was it exactly here? Let's see, 147,000 in total, 174,000 in total. So, like, yeah, the economy is great. It's great. The economy is amazing. And because of that, this ain't the website, the Fed Watch. that website up, CME Group. So because of that, because the economy is just so hot right now, we know that there's not going to be a rate cut coming up here in July. It's going to be another month here where they hold the rates steady, according to the CME. It's possible that we might have one here in September because it says there's a 64% chance of a rate cut. But that's a long ways away, guys. Long ways away. But anyhow, yeah, so the economy is so great right now that apparently we don't need a rate cut. I heard Mark Davis say it again here that apparently it's perfectly capable of the market pumping when we have treasuries above 4%, or when we really, he said, when we have a federal funds rate above 4%. He specifically highlighted the federal funds rate. I mean, they go together here, so I don't think it matters. But because way back in from 1995 to 1999, we had the federal funds rate at 5%, higher than it is now, and we still had the dot-com bubble because every bubble is just exactly the same, and we're not rooting for an actual bull market. No, we're just rooting for a bubble to happen. Oh, respect you, Lark. Got a lot of respect for you. But you got to understand here that when you got a treasury over 4%, you got to understand that that's communicating something very specific. Execute, I hope you're listening because I'm going to hit you with this in our debate. When you see a 10-year treasury yield at 4.34%, what is that communicating? And you want to say, well, it doesn't matter. No, it does matter because every single investment analyst on Wall Street, or really every single investment analyst in investment analysis, pays attention to the 10-year treasury. Why do they pay attention to that? What's the significance of it? What's important about it? I'll tell you exactly what it is here. This tells you just how comfortable the investing public is with investing. When the treasury yield is high, that means that the price of it is low. The price of it is low because it's not being bought. And because it's not being bought, it's because the investing public is not comfortable with investing right now. Why is that though? I mean, we have such a great economy according to the jobs report now, don't we? I mean, everything is just so good under the sun according to that jobs report, right? No, not in the least. Because here's the deal. 73,000 of the jobs that were added were government jobs, not private companies, which you would see if we had a booming economy, but government jobs. Now, not federal government. They were state and local government. See, as the federal government is trying to cut down and shrink, well, now the state and local governments are deciding, oh, we're going to employ all of those lazy bums that worked for the federal government. And yes, if you're a government worker, you're lazy. If you're a government worker that's watching me and you're offended, I'm not really sorry. Be offended. You're lazy if you work for the government. So here we have 73,000 of the 147,000 jobs added in June were from the government. Have you guys ever heard of what's called the economic imperative? I want you to sit back and think about this here. Why do we work? Why does anyone work? What's the purpose of work? It's not just to make money. I mean, yeah, we do it to make money. But what's the purpose of stacking up that money? I mean, we save that money, right? We don't spend it all. Some people do, but ideally we don't. The purpose of work is to accumulate enough money so that one day you won't have to work. We call that saving for retirement in our personal lives. When we're working and stashing aside money, it doesn't have to be in a 401k. It could just be in a brokerage account, or in our case, we stash our savings into crypto. When we do that, we're doing it because we're hoping that one day we'll have saved enough and our investments will have grown enough to a point where we won't have to work. That is every individual's financial imperative or economic imperative. But what about for the overall economy? What's the imperative for the overall economy? It's the same thing. we do all of the work that we can so that one day none of us will have to work. We want to create as much positive economic growth privately that generates more income per capita than each person can possibly need, creates innovations, brilliance, where we have these great things like AI, robots. We can invent those things to make our lives easier, raise our standards of living, and then raise our standards so high to the point where we don't even have to work. The robots do all the work. The AI does all the work. And then us as humans, we sit back, we party, we watch our movies, we play our video games, we do our arts, play our guitar. That's what I'm going to do if we ever reach that in my lifetime. I'm just going to sit back and play guitar all day. And we have fun. We spend the majority of our time having fun. That is the economic imperative, is we raise our standards of living so high that no human being in the world has to work because the machines do everything for us. We focus on the fun. Speaking of that, don't go see the new Jurassic World movie. It is absolutely awful. Not as bad as Dominion. That was like the worst thing ever made. But yeah, the new Jurassic World, it's laughably bad. But anyways, to get to the economic imperative for the overall economy, are we going to get there with government jobs? No. Government jobs do not innovate anything. They add nothing new to the economy. What they do is they take money from the private economy and then spend it in the public sector and then put it back into the private economy. There is no value creation. There's no new standards of living raised from it. It's not a Genesis job. You see, a Genesis job would be something like, if I'm a farmer, well, I'm creating food that feeds people so people can do more work. And because those people can do more work, because I got the energy now, and then also because I'm going to need to employ people as a farmer to help me like till the field and everything. It's a Genesis job. It creates more jobs. It creates more economic value because the food that I'm creating didn't exist before. Government doesn't create everything. Everything that it does, it is taken from the private sector. Everything that goes on in the public sector is taken from the private sector. It extracts from the private sector. So really, it's just slowing down the economy. The economy slows down when the government is the only thing that's growing. 100% true. Want to challenge me on that? Oh. You'll lose that fight every time. So what I'm showing you here with that chart of where the jobs are, government is the only thing that really added, or it added half of the jobs last month, and they're calling it a victory. I'm not calling that a victory because the government does not innovate and they do not push our economy further along the economic imperative. We may as well just be standing still when the government is the only thing that is booming. We may as well just be standing still because we're making zero progress along the economic imperative to raising our standards of living. Now, here's the truth. The United States is in a recession. It's in a bad recession right now. They're just not calling it that. Remember, they're not. It's not something that's unprecedented. They did this back in 2022. We had a recession then. They just didn't call it one. And you say, wait a minute. Cairo, what makes you think you're so smart? And you could have the ability to say that the U.S. is in a recession when no one else on TV, no one else on CNBC is willing to go that far. And certainly no one in the government is going to go that far. Well, there is a very trusted authority that actually agrees with me. And you have to look at the whole picture here. You have to look at the whole picture that they're not showing us. So let me show you this here. I'm going to go back to when we are looking at Federal Reserve economic data. There's a website for it. It's called Fred. They also have a blog there, the Fred blog, and I saw something very interesting. There on Fred. Have you heard about this? Anyone told you about this? You heard anybody talk about this? You know what this is? This is real gross domestic product by the states, for each state. It shows you real gross domestic product. So is each state economy growing or is it contracting? That's what this chart shows you. That's what this layout is showing. And you see a lot of red on there and very little green. You see, green means that state had positive economic growth for the first quarter of 2025. That's what the green means. And there's only 11 states that have green on here. All the ones that are in red, these are all negative, experiencing negative contractions in their state. Look at this, negative 4.4%, negative 3%, negative 2.7, negative 1.7. A lot of states are bleeding. Look at Iowa. It's down 6%. It contracted 6%. 39 out of 50 states here in the United States are bleeding. And you are going to tell me that the economy is good? What economy, or what universe are you living in? Where 39 out of 50 states for a country are bleeding. How is that a good thing? And somebody might say, well, it's not so much about the geography. It's about the population. Because, Florida is a big, big state, and they are supplying the economic growth for the rest of the country. You really think that just 11 states can carry the rest? And you think that that's going to continue? Let's talk about this here. Like the fastest growth, the most powerful economy right now is actually South Carolina. They had 1.7%. 1.7% does not sound that great to me, guys. I mean, would you be cool if your portfolio so far this year only grew 1.7%? And then Nebraska and Iowa had the steepest contraction at 6.1%. Guys, this sucks. It absolutely sucks. And here's the worst thing about it. The median state contracted at 0.64%. And 28 other states had a worse number than 0.64. The U.S. is in a recession. Here's all the proof that you need. Why is the Federal Reserve not cutting? I don't know. Because they know this. This is from their website here. This is their data. They should be cutting right now. They were all going, whoa, we want to see what's going to happen with these tariffs. And we had a really strong jobs report come in. And U.S. wages are going up. They're blaming it all on a bunch of crap that doesn't matter. You see now why the president is constantly talking so much trash about Trump, like pro wrestling here. And he's not using kid gloves when he talks about Jerome Powell. He's talking a lot of trash about it. And he's rightfully so talking about it because this is a disaster. We should be cutting rates right now. Now, I understand why Powell is not cutting the rates because he did it too early back in 2019 and really screwed up the economy. But now's the time to be cutting. Really, now is the time. What else is going on here? We talk about the Dixie. Execute. I hope you're watching because I'm going to show you this chart here, among other charts. Talk about the Dixie. What's it showing you here? It looks like it was on a downward trend for today. That's good. We want it to be on a downward trend. For the last 5 years. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty well 5 years here. I mean, the peak right here, January 8th, 2022. January 8th, 2022. Man, that wasn't really a good time for Bitcoin now, was it? No, it was not. And then coming up over here, January 9th, 2023. Bitcoin wasn't in great shape back then either. It got that high again in January this year, which January this year now, did we? Oh, not. Thankfully, it's been going down. And what we want to see is right up here now at 97. We want it all the way down here. 90 or really 89 was the lowest it got because that was 2021, which man, that was a really good year for us. Wasn't it? Really good year. Yeah, and execute. I'm gonna show you this here. Is it? This is gonna switch. Hold it. Let's show you my new favorite chart. Hang on a second, guys. Chrome has decided to stop working. I'll fix that up here. But I have made the claim before that there is a perfect inverse relationship, negative correlation between Bitcoin and the dollar index. I've shown the charts on that. I will bring those charts with me when we have our little debate here on RH Max's channel. Let me show you another one here. Again, if Chrome will let me, which looks like it doesn't want to let me. There we go. Macro, micro. All right. There we go. Hope y'all can see this here. What do you see? Bitcoin going down while the dollar index going up. Dollar index going up, Bitcoin going down. When it's up high, Bitcoin's down low. Like, look at this here. This was in the middle of 2021. Remember in the middle of it, the summertime when we had that lull, that doldrums there? Yeah. Yeah, that was because dollar index was real high. Then, and that dollar index went, the dollar index started going down. That was when Bitcoin started going back up. Incredible, huh? Oh, wait a minute. I got these mixed up here. See, the red is the dollar index, and the blue is Bitcoin. I'm sorry, I got that wrong here. So Bitcoin goes up throughout all of 2021. Then it has that lull here in the summertime I was talking about, which we're experiencing right now, too, by the way. And then we have the double top in November. Comes the second top here, or maybe they call it, some call it the false top, the Judas candle. But then as the Dixie started climbing, Bitcoin started dropping. We got a cross here, and it happens again over here. The inverse. This is a perfect inverse relationship. You want to tell me that this doesn't matter, execute? You want to argue with me? You're going to argue with this chart here. So, guys, take this as something to be extremely encouraged by. All you guys that are out there still hodling, especially the Richard Hart coins. All you people out there that are still hodling, you guys got to understand just what a great position we're in right now, considering the circumstances. You guys got to realize here we're very lucky to be where we are right now, considering the unfavorable dollar index and the unfavorable treasury. Matter of fact, let's have a look here at where we're at as of today. Let's start with just looking at the core coins. So we got a very unfavorable dollar index. We've got a very unfavorable four-year treasury, but still, we're up for the week. And we're not up for the day so much. I always look at the 24-hour chart there. But still, we're up for the week. And we're still up from the all-time lows. I mean, I would expect us to be at all-time lows here with the Dixie being as strong as it is and with the four-year treasury being as strong as it is. But we're not. We're actually doing pretty average right here. And I think that the EHEX even is still up 11,000% from its all-time low. A lot of people think, oh, it's down 99%. It's doomed. I don't see it down 99%. I see it up 11,000%. And really, when you look at that on the logged chart, it's halfway from where it was at the peak to where it was at the trough. How's the rest of the market doing? I just show these coins right here on my watch list because really these are the only coins that I like. These are all the coins that I invest in. When we take a look at, it's not even worry about the all-time high here, but where are they year to date? Only thing that's up year to date is Bitcoin and XRP. And XRP is only up 9%. Solana, everybody just can't stop. Everybody just can't stop saying good things about Solana. Like, oh, it's the greatest thing ever. That thing's down 20% so far this year. Look at all these altcoins. We're down, let's see here, 49% so far this year. This, man. All right, the other thing that's up this year is Trump coin, up 639%. We all know why that is. We got a lot of coins here that are still down over 50% so far this year. And like as we go further down the chart here, go further down the listings, it gets worse. A lot worse. Then we come to our coins here. Now, PulseX year to date is just down 42%. That's not out of line with the rest of the market. Hex down 63. That's the Pulse chain version of Hex. EHEX down 42%. That's in line with the rest of the market. And the same with Pulse chain, down 60%. There's a bunch of other coins here in much worse positions. Much worse position. Root Network down 88%. Illuvium down 71. Mantra down 94. Everybody was making a big deal out of this coin. Everybody was making a big deal out of it like it was the second coming of Christ. And man, has it fallen hard from grace. I do think it will come back, though. This is actually a really good price for Mantra at 21 cents. Pith. Pith is going to be an interesting one to watch out for. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Maybe it's Pyth, like Python. I like to call it Pith, though. I'm pretty pithed off with this chart. But not really, because I like this price right here. It means I can get 10 coins here for $1. That's what I call an asymmetric buy. If you guys don't know, like the coins that I like best are what I call penny coins. And penny coins, it just means that when I buy, I put $1 into an order, I get more than one coin because the coin is less than $1. I call that an asymmetric purchase. When you cannot get asymmetric gains, which we're not getting right now, what you should focus on is asymmetric purchases. Because when you have made an asymmetric amount of, you have made many asymmetric purchases, and you have an enormous amount of coins, those asymmetric returns come in. That's going to be life-changing money. So if you want to know what coins to invest in, I say buy the ones that cost less than $1 right now, because you'll get a lot more of these coins. And man, aren't there 4 or 5 coins that are typically under $1 here? Hey, matter of fact, there's 4 or 5. There's 4 coins in particular that are under 1 cent. You get real asymmetric purchases on the RH coins. That's why I talk about them. Because now is probably the best prices you'll ever see for them for a long time to come. Long time to come. Now, I still stand by the idea that probably nothing's happening until September. Because if we get another Fed rate cut, here, then come September, that's when it's likely to happen. Might take longer. Hey there, Johnny. I see you there. Yeah, I'm sorry. I had to start talking right now because I just couldn't hold myself back anymore. If I didn't talk, I was going to lose it because the foolishness and stupidity that I've been seeing on Twitter is just driving me crazy. And I had to come out and start talking right now because if I didn't, wouldn't be able to handle it. So sorry, Johnny. I had to move up the stream there. But hey, the great thing about YouTube here is that it's recorded. Yes. So once I finish this stream, you can go back and watch it from the very beginning. And imagine this here. It's actually going to be exactly the same on the rewatch as it was had you watched it live. I know. Amazing, isn't it? Mm-hmm. I just find that a little silly whenever someone says, well, I'm sorry I missed you live there. Oh, watch it. The information I give is not dated. So welcome, Johnny. Welcome. So going to just go over just a little bit more stuff here that we found interesting. So we talked about like how 39 states are in a recession as we speak. 39 states are contracting. Well, can't really say a recession because it's 1 quarter so far of negative growth. I don't know when the new numbers will come out, but like maybe just finish quarter 2. And when those numbers come out and it shows that 39 states are still experiencing contraction, that's 6 months of negative GDP. That's a recession. I don't know what universe that Powell and the Federal Reserve is living in to say, oh, we have such a strong, resilient jobs market. Half of the jobs created last month were government jobs. Ain't nothing strong about that. Yeah. Here's what I wanted to what I wanted to show you all today. There was another little exchange there on Twitter. Actually, you know what? Before I should also talk to you all about this here, about what is necessary, what is left to happen for us to experience a bull run. Because I'm still holding firm on my hypothesis that this bull run hasn't begun, never got started. It's a long ways away here, and those parabolic tops that we're used to seeing, might not see them for a while. I mean, this whole 4-year cycle thing. I mean, I've been a 4-year fundamentalist, but not so much 4 years, but a cycle fundamentalist. You see, the activity that happens in crypto, it doesn't happen according to a calendar. We don't have like all these people that are just sitting on the sidelines looking at a calendar and going, oh, it's now year number 4. Let's go buy some crypto now and push the prices up. A lot of people think that that's what happens. No, that's not what happens, y'all. It is not happening. It's not the calendar that causes crypto to pump. What causes it to pump is the global liquidity cycle, the global business cycle, the global credit cycle. This is what I'm going to share with everybody in my talk at the PulseX convention. I'm going to explain it to everybody so that a child can understand the global liquidity cycle. You guys are going to have like such a great understanding of it that you're going to be able to make those top of market calls on the day. Maybe not on the day, but you'll be able to make them. You'll make those top of market calls like Richard Hart does. I mean, what he does, it's not luck. There is a science to it on how he's able to call the top on because this is what's necessary. This is what's necessary for us to have a bull run. We haven't had any of this yet, except the first one, interest rate cuts. But we didn't have that many of them. It's only down from the peak. We're only down 75 basis points. We had 3 cuts. So we still got a long way to go. We're not even half of what we were at the peak. Next thing, quantitative easing. Central banks buying government bonds, pushing cash into the system. Forward guidance, meaning no hike pledges, signaling future low rates to shape expectations. Lower reserve requirements. Banks can lend out more capital with less held back. That gets money moving. That gets economic activity going. Relaxed capital rules, such as like what they call them net capital requirements in banking, where you got to have a certain amount of money on hand as a bank. If we have relaxed capital rules, we got money moving around, we got the economy rolling, and the economic activity is hot. Loan forbearance policies. I don't know if we necessarily need that one, but it does keep credit flowing despite defaults and downturns. This is what we saw in 2006 and 2007. And we also saw a little bit of this here in 2020 and 2021, loan forbearance. Bank bailouts or backstops. We saw that one before, now haven't we? They want to prevent systemic collapse and restore confidence. We need massive fiscal spending. We're about to get that with the big, beautiful bill that just passed. That's direct injections of government money into the real economy. Now, I'm not a fan of massive government spending. That's Keynesian crap. We're just taking money from the private economy just to send it back. But here's the state where we're at right now. The money has already been taken from the private economy. It's time to send it back. When it comes back, that's positive. I mean, what we're talking about here, when it's the fiscal spending from Washington, what we're talking about is a broken window. Right now, the window is already broken. It's nice to have it come in and get fixed. So I don't particularly like massive fiscal spending, and I don't particularly think that it's a net good thing. But now that we're on the back half of that requirement, it's about to be a good thing. U.S. Treasury General Account drawdowns releases cash from the Treasury's account into circulation. That is when all of the treasuries that have matured this year and are about to mature this year is still a large portion of U.S. treasuries that are going to mature this year. Probably about $5 trillion worth of treasuries that will mature this year. They're going to have to replace those bonds. They're not paying off the bonds. They're going to replace them by issuing new ones. When they issue the new ones, they take in more money. When they take in that more money and then they release that money and spend it to fund the government, that helps the economy. That gets the liquidity and capital cycle going again. Foreign QE, foreign quantitative easing, global liquidity, we kind of already have that going on because central banks around the world are lowering their rates, which is going to force Powell's hand. Because here's the deal. If we got lower rates from other central banks around the world versus the federal funds rate that we have here, it's pushing our bank rates up. Well, what you're going to do is you're going to borrow money from foreign banks to invest in domestic banks that are paying you a higher rate than the rate you are paying on the amount that you borrowed from the foreign banks. We call that an arbitrage trade or a carry trade. You all know about the carry trade, right? You should know because it caused a lot of chaos back in August of 2024. Emergency credit facilities, temporary lending programs created during a crisis. And then economic pain. That is the only lever that turns on all 11 laws of liquidity. Economic pain. Now, show you something earlier on today's stream that indicated there is economic pain in the market right now. Let me show it to you again here. Let me pull it back up. Is there economic pain that's going to turn all of this on? Do y'all remember this here, this little chart that shows 39 out of 50 states in the United States experienced a contraction in Q1 of this year? What do you think is going to happen when the numbers for Q2 come in? You think that this chart gets any better? When the average the average GDP for each state was negative 0.64. 11 states can't carry the country and keep it out of a recession. So here's the economic pain. This is every reason for Powell to be cutting rates right now. He's not doing it because he's still upset about how he messed things up back in 2029. Or I won't say upset. He's still cautious because of how he messed things up back in 2019. 2019, he cut way too early. Well, now you're not early, pal. It's time to cut. This is going to be the provocation for them to do it. Nebraska and Iowa contracted by 6% last year. And South Carolina, the best state, the best performing state, only grew by 1.69%. This is a disaster. This is a recession. The United States needs to have the rates lowered, or else all this red is going to spread all across the entire map. That's what we're facing here. Now, last thing I want to do here is show you another little fudster that I had a little exchange with today here on X. Another fudster that he just refuses to shut the FUD up. Well, I'm going to have to take matters a little bit further here. Perhaps y'all saw this exchange here. So it started with Execute saying this here, and me going after Execute. Thankfully, so far, he sounds like he's going to actually be a man of his word and show up to the debates and come face me like a man. But then our old friend here, Jail Rat, says, "Oh, Richard owns 95% of the supply. Your lack of understanding is profound. He also did a sacrifice and destroyed the distribution because of greed. Now he extracts $1 million a day." And I'm seeing this narrative a lot here. Everyone's saying that, oh, yeah, Richard is selling the coins and dumping them. When I ask them for on chain evidence of this, they always seem to not be able to produce it. I don't understand. I mean, if it's like so apparent, why can't you show me on chain where it's happening? So I said, well, looky here. The other most illiterate boy in crypto speaks. Of course, he doesn't like that very much. So I asked him, hey, how about you show me on chain where Richard is dumping and also your evidence that Richard owns the wallets that are doing the dumping? Did he show me any evidence? No, of course not. He didn't show me any evidence. He just goes, oh, wouldn't I remember if you said anything that humiliated me? Ha 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 ha. Keep DCA, brother. You'll get there. Funny you say that, because actually I am still DCAing because I can still make an asymmetric purchase. And because I've always been DCAing, my positions are still in profit. Imagine that. Isn't that cool? Because I invest a little bit at a time consistently. I'm in profit on all 4 of the Richard Hart coins, or all 5, actually. I'm always in profit on ink because I got all my ink for free. So I said, hey, notice how you failed to show me any evidence of your accusations. You've been bested again. Don't worry, little boy. One day you'll understand. And then he goes, Richard lied for years, but you suck, suck, suck his C. Well, you guys know that I am not an apologist for Richard Hart. I am leading the charge on why I think the marketing push is stupid. I'm constantly criticizing the marketing push. We don't need marketing, and it's not going to help us. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of money. You should take the money that you were going to spend on marketing and just use it to buy the core coins. And that's not just a criticism I have of Richard Hart. That's a criticism I have of every hexkin that is currently wasting their money trying to print off postcards and do some sort of stupid-ass marketing campaign. But because I am against the marketing, I've called him out on that. And I was furious about the whole eHex kill tweet when that happened. So I just pointed out to him, hey, on the same stream where I debunked all of your idiot claims, I also criticized Richard Hart with legitimate issues. See what I did there? It's called honest analysis. Try it sometime. It's better than being butthurt over your bags not pumping enough to bail you out of jail. Again, show me your evidence or shut up. Then Jail Rat comes back and says, honest analysis is useless with Richard Hart. All he does is scam. Keep working hard, brother. Again, no evidence given by Jail Rat, so we can only conclude that you don't have any. I'm sorry that they denied your boyfriend conjugal visits for you while you were in jail. Here's your L. And he goes, you must be one of Tiger King's bros. No, Tiger King and I don't get along, actually. We've had some pretty harsh, we had some pretty cruel arguments on Twitter. I'm willing to look past it all, Tiger King. Because I don't know why you, this was way back when you were hating on Hex first. Now you love it, apparently. So Jail Rat says he never went to prison, but Richard certainly will. And I said, hey, you got the facts. I'd love to hear them. Let's get on a live stream. We can have RH Maximalist host it and moderate it. I'll even go on mute when you speak. Now, execute being a man here and is going to face me. But I have not heard from Jail Rat ever since that. Why? How come he hasn't responded? You telling me that maybe he's chickened? It would seem so. Because he hasn't said a word ever since. Not one little word. So, I've got something I want to say now to Jail Rat Crypto. Got something I want to say to him. Young man, I understand where you're at and why you're acting the way that you're acting. See, I've been in your shoes. I told the story way back when I did the stream about you. I know what it's like to be hoping for somebody to do something, hoping somebody else to do something. You shouldn't have. You shouldn't have been hoping for somebody else to do something. Shouldn't be having expectations about the work of others, but that's beside the point. I know what it's like to be you. and I can relate to you in everything. And I'll tell you what, I have a lot of respect for a guy that goes to the gym with commitment and does the hard work there instead of, an average American that's so incredibly fat and lazy. I have a lot of respect for someone like that. I would have a lot of respect for you. I would absolutely, I would absolutely have a lot of respect for you for all those things. And to a certain extent, I still do. And, and I've seen how long you've been streaming and everything and how you got a lot of views and an audience and all. Respect that as well. But one thing I will not stand for is your mouth. Because when I come on here and I do my streams, I work real hard to bring the facts, to bring the bullish juice, to bring everything that backs up my positions. But unlike me, Geo Rat, you don't do that. No, you see, what you do is you just make an assertion and you provide zero evidence, like you had multiple opportunities to do today. Zero evidence to back up your assertions, to back up your accusations. Provided no evidence, even though I kept asking for it. I don't admire that, bro. So, tonight, I draw the line. Tonight, I'm inviting you to a debate, mano a mano, face to face with me. We can get RH Max to host it. We can get him to moderate it. I will go on mute while you talk. I hope you'll do the same for me. I'll go on mute when you talk and let you say whatever you want to say. You better bring the facts because whatever you say, I will dismantle. You show me one-on-one who's telling the truth. Because after Execute's gone, you're next. So, it can be before the PulseX conference. It can be after. Just want you to know, your butt's next. That's all I got to say today. So, I hope everybody got a lot of good, bullish encouragement from today and knows that the green candles are coming. They just may take longer. And this cycle is not a 4-year cycle. It's still a cycle. What dictates the cycle is the flow of credit and the flow of liquidity and the flow of capital. It is not the calendar that dictates this cycle. I hope that you all realize that now and you all will stop going, oh, the 4-year cycle, the 4-year cycle. No, it's just a cycle. And this cycle is taking longer. It may go all the way into 2026. It may go even longer than that. But the thing hasn't even started yet, as I proved today. So, until next time, everybody please shut the FUD up. Cairo out.